Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone throughout this crazy world, I do apologize for this delay, but how's it going? It is the Monkey Man in the house, ready for another tale from straight from the bard from the monkey's mouth. I do apologize for my late response. With this lovely little bit that's been going on to everybody recently. I've been just bunkering down and trying to stay safe and keep my sanity together. Um, and while all that's been doing, I've been trying to keep myself preoccupied, and I kind of like talking about myself, but I don't like talking it with my roommates here, people's here. This should be something that I want to just unload how I feel, especially with this series. After I'm done with this series, I'll probably make some other things, and I won't care. But for this one, straight for the monkey's mouth, this is something personal for me. So, with that said, this is now starting the dirty years, the real fun years that made me me. High school. I'm going to go and do this, make this a two-part series. Go freshman and sophomore, junior and senior, because it's those two areas that I have two very different experiences. But high school for me was a huge change from the life that you all have seen in my previous videos, with manipulation, with teachers messing with me, students messing with me, everything. Once I hit 8th grade, it was a different vibe. And it wasn't, and then once I hit 9th grade and 10th grade, those were the 2 years that it stuck to me, that I was more safe than I ever was, and I could start calming down. And then 11th and 12th grade was the years where I started to unfold and start to create the individual that was the foundation for the individuals you see today. So, when I went to high school, the first story that I remember was a friend of mine. And I don't remember. Screw it, why not? His name is Hampton. He was this kid, who was like part of the school or whatever. He was helping passing out books for the school, and helping people, show people around and stuff like that. He was a real cool kid. Before I even found any of my old friends, and I had to look up the names, and I realized I screwed one up, but sorry. Millie, Leah, and Liz. They were the ones that were still, who truly followed me throughout high school. Charles was there for a short while, but he went away. But yeah, I didn't touch base with them. I don't think for a short while, until like when we started getting comfortable into our foundation that we would see for 4 years. Before that, I remember it just being me at that point. And the first fondest memory I had was I met with this kid Hampton at lunch. He had the same lunch as I did, and he was a complete 180 from what I saw. He obviously had to clean himself up for everybody else. I clearly understood that. You're helping parents and new kids and stuff like coming in. You can't be, oh fuck this bullshit, that this fuckery, this and that. Like, you can't be that in front of parents. But when you're in school, like, that is different. So That was kind of funny. But I don't exactly remember how this conglomeration happened, but the best thing that happened was on lunchtime because it was when Millie, Leah, and Liz and I uh, found these group of individuals. Let's see here. I'm trying to remember. There's one, and I'll go by the abbreviation Barry. If she sees it, Margaret. Screw it. Barry, Margaret, Jordy. She was a girl, and there was a Jordan who was a man, and like a small amount of other people. And these were like juniors or senior. Yeah, I think they were juniors when we met them. And I don't know why either we stuck around them or they hung around us. But it quickly turned into like this weird like clique that formed into what we called the Goonies. We were labeled Goonies by the high school, and anybody who would know us would label us as Goonies. And I remember we had like, I don't want to say like cliques of Goonies or whatever, but there's no easier way I can describe it. There was like a few over on this corner, our corner was over here, or like freshman year was kind of a molding pit, and it was still fresh and still everything. It was when the fun started. There was still all kinds of different groups and this and that, and it was fairly entertainment. I was getting teased around and dragged around by this Geordie girl. I thought I was in love with her, but she was a tease. So like all the fucking dudes that we hung out with, it was hilarious. My fondest memories. Let's see here. The guy Jordan, he did something and ended up we had like these guardrails with like 4 to 6 like metal rails, and I don't know how the fuck he was on there or why the fuck he was on there, but he somehow jumped off and one leg went off and not the others, so this big dude is like doing a freaking split like this, and he had to go to the office to the nurse for that. That was funny. We kept getting towards the end of the year, those juniors or whatever, those juniors or seniors, the ones that we were hanging out with, they slowly disappeared. And then we were stuck there. And for some weird reason, it went from all these little groups or whatever to us, my little group of 4, basically starting on a corner on the side of like these new portable classrooms. But then the teachers got mad that we were hanging out there. So we went to this tree and started hanging out on the tree. And I don't want to say we were like the head up, but we kind of were. We were the people like they all conglomerated around onto. Like, we were there, so they, for some reason, fucking followed, and we were the guys they all introduced to us and stuff like that, and slowly through freshman and junior year, we had a weird, distant family. About half of these fucking kids, I didn't even remember them, but they knew me. I slowly grew up, we got this weird... I don't know. I don't know if you would call it popularity, but we had something. And for me, I never had any of that in my life. So that little group that we accumulated and continued to accumulate throughout the years, that was something special to me because I didn't have any. On top of the fact that I had multiple people that I had from middle school followed me out and were still friends with me into high school. And again, I said it before, Millie, Leah, and Liz, those three girls, and Charles, those four stayed with me the entire time. I mean, through the last end of middle school when it started to matter, through the good majority, if not the whole end of high school. Because unfortunately, as I'll say in the next part, Charles left. But that'll be a different story. Let me think here. What else? There's all kinds of things like that. I started becoming real good friends with teachers. Now, let me talk a second about Fletcher first, while I finally take this that I've been staring at for 11 minutes. Fletcher is a very interesting middle school / high school. There are a lot of very caring teachers. There are teachers that want you to succeed, that will help go through thick and thin to help you succeed. If you give them the time of the day, they will be among some of your best friends. There are also punk-ass kids. There are wannabe gang members. There's jits. There's wannabes. It's your high school. Kids are kids. We had great teachers. I had great relationships with my teachers. I would go hang out in their classrooms. Later on in the years after school, I would just visit their classrooms and talk with them. Cause, like, my earliest memories, my earliest favorite teachers in freshman year would have been Miss Tracy. She was my math teacher. She didn't have a classroom. She traveled classrooms because she did multiple different subjects. She worked her ass off for her mother. She was an incredible woman. I run into her on occasion, and it's an incredible experience. And Miss Duncan, who was my English teacher, who really got me learning into more of the classical plays and everything like that. Sophomore year, I don't remember off the top of my head. Like, there's some teachers that stick out more than ever. I think sophomore year was year. But what else? My sophomore, funny story. So in freshman year, there was this girl named Gina. She was part of our group and stuff like that. I don't know when she came into the picture, how long she was in the picture, or whatever. I know she was in the earliest of our group before the older ones left. Like, I want to say she was probably like a sophomore or something like that. And this was definitely this was either freshman or sophomore year, definitely. But I think it was freshman. No. It was sophomore year. This is a sophomore year story. So this girl Gina, this was after they left, and we still had our group, and it was our group. Well, we had this thing at our class where we had those freaking boxes of candy, and you sold them for like $1. And if you sold a certain amount, you get to go to Universal and Islands of Adventures for one night. And it was back and forth, however long you wanted, and they had waivers for free food. At certain restaurants at certain times, you can get certain things. There was no supervision. Kids go ham. And because we overspent, we had like $100 like each kid to spend on top of whatever the hell we brought. They gave us like money to spend because we overspent. Like, it was fucking cool as shit. I was with my group with Millie was with me at first, but then she got mad and disappeared. So I had this kid Travis hang out with me. He's a little bit of a punk, but he and I chilled a bit. He was a sports kid, but I don't think he was ever really on any team. I can't recall. But he was a real cool kid, and he was part of our group as well. He was left, right, up, down. He was associated with our group. He wasn't part of our group. But he and I were real cool. Ended up spending the day. But we all ended up back on the bus, but the teachers didn't get a check-in of everybody. So we were late on departure when physically every single head was in the bus waiting for the teachers to come in, waiting for us. And on our way back, we were exhausted, whatever, passing out, and this girl Gina comes over to me, and just slyly just asked me out. I had no interest with her. She tried to ask me out beforehand, and I had no interest. But as I was saying no, the word "sure, why not" came out of my mouth. No, this absolutely was freshman year. This was freshman year. And I dated this girl for a week. And then she after about a week, this whole entire week, I didn't want to be an ass to her, but I didn't want to date her. So I just did everything I could to stay away from her, which led me to be in the computer room playing Quake with a bunch of people after their work's done. Another great relationship I had with a teacher. I could just walk into whatever class. If I was on lunch period, I could just walk into her class and just sit and chill. She did not care. And I was friends with a bunch of people that way just because we had this thing. Around freshman year, we found out that we could download games from a certain website to these computers and keep them. So after our online lesson that we had to do, the rest of the freaking class was us just going on Quake, doing multiplayer, and just killing each other. And I sucked. But we did it every single day. It was so much fun. That's how I came across Rhapsody. I came across Rhapsody and started listening to the earliest of hip hop. And my middle school day in 7th, 8th grade, and 7th through 10th grade, I was in a huge hip hop craze. And when I got into Quake, oh, it was over. That was when that song "I'ma Do Me" came out. Man, that was nasty. But I stayed in there for most times during the lunch period, mainly because I didn't want to be around her. And then after a week, I got a call to the office, and let me start by this crazy one. I always said I did things to stand out for attention in my stories. I was that kind of kid because I couldn't control myself and I was paranoid. After once 8th grade hit, that officially went away from my head. Once 7th grade hit, I was like, okay, let's see how long I can not end up in the principal's office. It was a personal goal for me. Do not end up in the principal's office. And for the most part, I did a damn good job. Or if I did end up in the principal's office, it wasn't my fault. I did nothing. So I remember when they called for me, I was in class. I'm like, what? I remember shouting, for what? And the lady responding, come to the office, we'll tell you. And me walking I didn't do anything. What's going on? And it's a whole bunch of my friends from on the Goonies. I don't think Leah was there, but Millie and Liz was there. a bunch of small little guys that we were associated with, and I don't mind saying their names because I don't really associate with them. But there was this kid Ray, and there was this one kid with like this afro. There was this other kid with an afro, but he comes later. But I don't remember his name. But he was a part of my life his sophomore year. I remember him very well. He was a very dark black man, but he was one of the coolest dudes. And we had him, and we had my boy, and I know he wouldn't mind a shout out, my boy Akeem Owens, aka Lucky Charms for the Hood. This little black motherfucker. I'm 5'11", pushing 6 foot. This motherfucker was like up to my shoulder at my in high school, and he had ears like an elf and stuff like that. He had so much energy, and he was my best friend. Like, he was, in a way, he was a void that filled when Gunther was gone, because unfortunately Gunther was around for like for all of 7th grade and half of 8th grade, and then he just fucking disappeared. I have no idea where he is. I still to this day do not know where he is. I can know where I still am in somewhat connection with Charles. The other people, those will be other stories. Oh my god, so many notifications. Those will be more stories that I'm unfortunately gonna get to. And some of them are gonna watch this. Yes. I apologize in each video. I'm gonna just say that there. But, where was I going with this? I still don't, to this day, don't know where Gunther is. I can easily find out where that dude with the pain tolerance was. I think he's in another state. I ran into him a few times. Still a very good friend. Still a good friend, and probably if I see him today. Charles, we've had on and off times together. I need to hit him up when this is over. But, this kid, Akeem, was like my best friend, and we called him Lucky Charms for the Hood. And every morning we're like, "Hey, someone's coming after your Lucky Charms." He'd run over. "Hey, who's coming after my Lucky Charms?" This and that, and this and that. He's so full of energy, and we were just a horrible duo together, but it was just so much fun. And that one kid. So they're all in the office with Millie, and I want to say Liz. And I know she's going to see this. So when you do see this, message me. I want to know if you were in this, because I don't remember. We were in there with the girl Gina. And I'm confused, like, what's going on? And then I heard word that she cheated on me with Hakeem. And everybody thought I would go after Hakeem. I absolutely fell to the floor laughing my ass off. I told him I wanted to break up with her. She got me out of. I told him right there, "You got me out of weak moment. Take the girl." And I literally went to him like, "Dude, you know I'm with you." Oh, he was just so. He's just sitting there so scared. And as soon as he realized, he's like, "Dude." It was a funny moment with that. Sophomore year, it was kind of a blur with that, because we had all kinds of. That was when the Goonies was a peak. That was when those senior kids were pretty much away from us. They weren't on the same schedule. It was pretty much me, Leah, Millie, and Liz, and our friend Ray. We started having friends that we started creating. Like, we started creating a little family with our group. And we had people that, through our time with the Goonies. I have many people that I would consider my family. I have a friend, Jessie, who unfortunately has passed. He passed a year after high school. The official story was, I'm going to tell you the official story, and then I'm going to tell you what I know. Because ain't nothing that's happened from it. So, Jessie was a friend of one of our... No, not a friend. He was a brother of this girl who just weaseled her way in. She's been there for like a year. Been with our group for like a year. And she was a bitch, but she was okay. She was a hoe, but she was okay. Like, it was weird. Our group was weird, to say the least. I could probably make a story, a YouTube video on the Goonies just as it is. I probably am. Just spitball all the Goonie ideas that I remember. I'll probably hit everybody up, see if they remember anything for it. And I know they're gonna see it, so hey, hit me up. Let's see here, like Jessie, Andy's a good boy. As I will say. I'll talk about him briefly because I know he's gonna enjoy this spotlight when I talk about him on part 2. But Jessie, he was an incredible soul. We had our thing with Tina, but Jessie, he was very special. But he was a delinquent, and he did his thing. He was on his way. He was on the bus on the way to an alternative school called Grand Park down in Jacksonville, where I'm from, Jacksonville, Florida. And the official story was they were going up an overpass, and Jessie jumped out the back and tumbled down an overpass. And helicopters flew him, and he died when he was at the hospital. Now, knowing my brother, he was a delinquent, but he was a very good delinquent. He knew location, and the story was he was going to run away to be with his wife, or pretty much wife. I won't put her name out. And he knew location, and there was a rumor that there was a kid in that bus with him that had a horrible history with Jessie. And the ongoing rumor was that he didn't jump out, he was pushed out. And there was weird footage. There have been claims that have come to friends. I've heard some of the claims and everything. It's a weird case, but Jessie could possibly have been alive because he was going in and out of consciousness. He was still alive. He was dying, but he was coming back, and parents just let him go. So there's the thought of could he have lived? And there's this how he could. But I had Jessie, I had Andy, I had Shaggy. Oh, man. Shaggy. Man, I got a guy. I just realized the time there's so much I can go through there. And that's just freshman year. So many people that I met in just this weird amount of time. Well, guess I'm going to go a little bit farther than this. Shaggy, aka Louis Crimsey. Really looked like a big tubby version of Shaggy. He was a stoner man, and he was the calm anarchist. Millie was this, I forget what kind of race it was, but it wasn't black. but it was a very dark skin color, like Colombian or something like that. Not Haitian, not of any black descent, but like Colombian, like Spanish or Puerto Rican, or Brazilian or something like definitely or like along that line. But she was the peppy one and the fun one, just the odd one out, but she was fun to be around. We had Leah, who was the crazy bitch, just hit and just did carnage just cause, and we all did it back. So it was just so like we would all slapbox each other, beat the fuck out of each other. It was just a thing. Hey, we used to record ourselves on a cell phone, pretending to beating the shit out of each other, and a lot of times I didn't even get back. I got my ass whooped a lot of times. But it wasn't. But it was for different reasons. It was for fun, and it was weirdly fun. It was enjoyable. Um. Let's see here. Just so many people that I met, and I think I can't think of anything more with them. Sophomore year was just a conglomeration because there was just so many people just coming in and out and through. I stuck with my group, and then the whole tree where we ended up just getting filled with people. Oh, so that just ended up being the Goonie tree. That was our spot throughout the entire high school year. So, with that said, I'm going to end that. And hopefully, I'm going to have another moment of peace to release part 2 of high school, junior and senior year. This is when shit's going to start getting interesting, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Interesting to say the least. This is the 2 years when my life starts to change drastically. So, with that said, I am the Monkey Man, and I will see you all.